Hi everyone, let's have a look at another game of Xiangqi Chinese Chess. This is a game played at the 2005 Nianhai Cup between two grandmasters. We have Lu Qing playing as red and Liu Dahua playing as black. Red starts by centralizing his cannon, placing some pressure onto this center pawn for black, which black defends by developing his knight. We see a few more developing moves, both players going for control here over this file. Black develops a knight, and now red pushes his pawn here, looking to constrict the movement from black's knight. The knights in Chinese chess aren't able to jump over a piece directly in front of them, and black can no longer advance his pawn without losing it. So this knight now has been constricted, and black, now not wanting to have his position left too contained, returns the favor to red, advancing this pawn. Red now moves his rook in aggressively into black's position. This places some pressure along this file here, but also comes with an attack onto this undefended pawn. This knight currently isn't defending it, as it can't jump over the cannon, which is directly in front of it. In order to defend, black simply sidesteps his cannon. Now the knight is able to defend the pawn, and he's also offering up a trade of rooks here. In this position, this is red's primary developed piece, and he doesn't gain much by trading it off. So instead he sidesteps, putting some pressure on this knight, although it is defended by the cannon, but also coming with an attack on this undefended pawn. But black's not really worried about that attack at the moment, and instead retreats with his cannon, looking to come across and shake the rook out of his position. So red here can take this pawn, but he doesn't really stand to gain too much from it. If we just have a look, after red takes, black can simply bring across his cannon, which chases red away, and after red sidesteps, black's now able to take this pawn, or if he wanted to, he could also add some extra pressure into black's position, now with an attack on each of these pawns. So if we come back, red doesn't go for the pawn, and instead advances his center pawn. This looks to constrict black's movement even further, applying extra pressure here, especially since he's got his cannon looking down the center file at black's king. Black, not wanting to allow any cannon checks causing him any issues, moves out his advisor. So red continues his push down the center, crossing the river with his pawn. Black can take this pawn here, although it does stand to open up the center a bit much and could lead to some potential threats from red. So instead he brings across his cannon, trying to chase away red's rook, which red can simply sidestep. Black now changes things up, going for a different idea, advances this pawn here. He's got a lot of his pieces positioned on this side of the board, and opening things up here could stand to advantage him. Red, not wanting to go for the bait, instead brings his knight into the center. This offers up his pawn, but gives him some activity in return, looking to access this square, which is exactly what happens. Black takes the pawn, and red brings in his knight, now attacking black's knight. Here the computer would recommend black simply retreating his knight back to this square, and says the position's pretty equal. Instead he goes for a different, more aggressive idea, bringing his rook down into red's position, offering up the knight. Red, for some reason, makes the mistake of not taking the knight and just being up a piece, goes for a developing move, which is a little bit too slow, bringing out his knight, perhaps looking to access some of these squares, increase some pressure into the position. Black now, again, has the opportunity to retreat his knight, but there is another interesting idea here, an interesting line which leads to a fair bit of trades and some material imbalance, and perhaps a slight advantage for black. Definitely some winning chances for black. Black can start by moving his knight out here, attacking red's rook, but also opening up the attack from the cannon onto red's elephant. The only move which prevents both of these is for red to bring across his rook. This blocks the attack from the cannon and sidesteps the knight attack. And black now continues attacking the rook, and offering up his own cannon, which after red takes, black now has this move. Bringing his knight here, he's threatening checkmate in one, by coming here. It's check on the king, and the king can't run anywhere because of this, this rook here. So red's only option is to create a flight square for his king, which he can do by moving forward his advisor. And black simply goes for this move anyways, forking both the king and the rook. After the king moves aside, black can take the rook, and now red can finish it by taking black's knight. And we see a position here with a slight advantage for black, but a strong material imbalance. So black has the 2 rooks versus red's 1, but red has 4 pieces versus black's 2. A rook is considered to be worth slightly more than 2 pieces, and rooks are often usually more versatile and able to coordinate a little bit better, so black's got good winning chances if he went for this line, which he didn't. So if we come back to this position here, instead of going for that line, and instead of trying to save his knight, black brings out his elephant. And so now red takes up the offer, taking black's knight. Black starts bringing across his chariot, chasing the knight away, and red's able to now win a pawn as well. Black here still has the same idea of bringing this knight across to go for the line we just looked at, but taking the knight here in the center would be a mistake. Let's have a quick look. After he takes, red takes with the cannon. This is a nice pin down the center, and red's got a very strong attack. Black's going to have a tough time defending from that. So instead of that, black moves his rook across, looking down this nice open file, hoping to find some attacking opportunities. Here we see red make an interesting decision. He's already up a piece, as we can see. Black has these 3 pieces, and red has 4. And so he goes for a move which is going to add further imbalance to the position, and making some extra trades. Starts by moving his rook up. This opens up a double attack. His rook's attacking the cannon, and this knight's attacking this knight. Black isn't able to take the knight here, because if he does, red simply takes the cannon. And now red's up a full piece, and he needs to do something about this knight here, which is currently under attack. Red should be able to convert this game rather easily. So black goes for the really the only good move in this position, bringing back his cannon, attacking the rook from red. And red now goes for the trades that I was talking about. Red takes black's cannon, offering up his rook, which black takes, and now red takes black's knight. So if we have a look at the position here, we're able to see some interesting material imbalance. Red has 1 rook versus black's 2, but red has 4 pieces versus black's 1. Just to give you a feel for the points for the different pieces in Chinese chess, the rooks are considered to be worth about 9 points. The minor pieces, that is the knights and the cannons, are considered to be worth about 4 points. Pawns are worth 1, sometimes 2 after they've crossed the river. Elephants are worth 2 points, and advisors are worth 1 point. So we can see here that although red is down a rook, being up 3 pieces means that he should have a material advantage, although the position's still quite open and black still has some good attacking opportunities. In fact, black has a way to start winning back some material immediately. He begins by bringing back his rook. This comes with an attack onto red's knight here, and red's unable to move the knight away, because if he does, black can simply take red's elephant. This comes with check. Red has to interrupt the check by moving away one of his advisors, and black now can bring down his rook. And this is an incredibly dangerous position for red, and in fact the computer says that black's completely crushing in this position. So red instead brings up his cannon to defend his knight, but black's able to simply bring forward his rook. This interrupts the defense of the cannon onto this knight, and now red also has a double attack. Red brings across his rook, trying to defend his cannon, and black's able now to just take the knight and balance up the material. And here red makes a move which might have cost him the game. The best idea is simply to advance this pawn, applying lots of pressure into the center here. Black currently can't move either his rook or elephant because they're both pinned to this rook over here. Instead, red goes for more activity, bringing in his knight, looking to apply some extra pressure into black's position. And this gives black an opportunity to do some counter-attacking. Black sidesteps with this pawn, looking to gain some center control here, but more importantly, opening up an attack from this rook onto this elephant here. Red is forced to move the elephant out of the way here, and actually here black misses an opportunity to really shore up his victory. It's a nice idea. Black's able to bring down his rook, and this attacks the elephant, and the elephant currently can't escape to either of these squares. Red's only other option is to defend it by bringing back this cannon here. So now, if black takes, red simply takes back with the cannon. But now black can bring across his own rook, and after red takes and black takes, here red has no rooks left. The material is relatively equal, but black having the extra rook, it's a much more versatile piece and could lead to a lot of troubles for red. If we come back, black doesn't go for this idea. Instead tries something different, sidestepping with his cannon, looking to cause some problems for red on the back rank. And indeed, if red were to make just a random move here, let's say he advances this pawn, black's now able to deliver check. Red interrupts the check, moving away his advisor. Black now brings down his rook. This is double check from the rook and the cannon, and so the elephant can't take, as that would still be check. The only option is to interrupt again, is to block, sorry, with the advisor, but this is just crushing for black. So red obviously doesn't go for a random move like that, and indeed this move from black does give red an opportunity to equalize in the position. Red is able to bring his cannon across one square, and this attacks this rook now. If the rook moves to the side, this is going to be a fork on the two rooks. So this kind of forces black into some trades. Black takes the knight, red takes black's rook, and black takes the cannon. A relatively equal trade, but now we see both sides with one rook and one cannon each. Position's still better for black. Red's king's quite exposed, but red's got more opportunity to hold on from this position. Red does, however, miss this. If we come back from this position here, red instead brings across his cannon, preventing black's access to the back rank. But this just isn't enough, and this position's already lost for red. Black here is able to bring down his rook, and this attacks the cannon, and if the cannon moves, then red's losing his elephant. So red makes the only other move, which is to bring his knight across to defend the cannon. But this allows black now to enter further into red's position. Bringing down his rook, trying to chase the knight away. Does expose black here to a knight fork after red moves back. Both of his rooks are attacked, but black can simply pin the knight, and now the cannon is undefendable, and if he moves, he's losing the elephant. Cannon's worth more than the elephant, so red moves the cannon out of the way, going for a counterattack onto this pawn. And black doesn't need to take the elephant just yet. He's covering all of its escape squares, so instead, maintaining the pin, black takes up this center pawn. This knight's still pinned, so it can't take this rook. And here, red actually can't take this pawn, and doing so will lead to forced mate, if we just have a quick look. After red takes, black can deliver check. Red's only move, he can't move his advisor out of the way now as it's blocked by the knight, is to block with the elephant. And now red can simply move his rook across, and there is nothing that red can do to prevent this move next, which will be checkmate. This is checkmate. So if we come back, red sees this and doesn't try to take that pawn. Instead, he goes for a more aggressive play, bringing his cannon to the back rank. Black now takes the elephant, and red, continuing with the aggression, moves in his rook. But here, black simply moves back with his rook, attacking red's cannon, and red's not really able to move the cannon in this position. Let's just say he does retreat back here. Black will now be able to start bringing his rook across. And red can take the pawn, but now after black steps across his king, he's threatening checkmate here. The kings are not allowed to look at each other directly across the board, so after black takes, king won't be able to retake, and he's got no escape squares. So of course here red, seeing that that's not possible, sacrifices the cannon, takes a pawn instead. Black gladly accepts the offer of the cannon, and red goes for one last idea, bringing his rook to the back rank, threatening a discovered attack. If it were red's move, he could bring his cannon here. This would be check, and red would also be attacking the rook from black. Black, of course, sees this, brings his rook down further into red's position, and this is where red resigned. Black's up too much material, and the position is just far too crushing for him. And there you have it. A nice game there with some interesting material differences throughout. If you would like to see some more games of Xiangqi Chinese chess, or just learn more about the game in general, I've put some links below in the description.